WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been held in a high-security prison since he was arrested last spring at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he effectively was held for many years in isolation. His extradition hearing is now finally underway. Assange's lawyer estimates he could face 175 years in prison if he's extradited to the United States. He faces espionage charges here. WikiLeaks exposed all kinds of things, some of which it was good to know, including corruption by the Democratic National Committee in 2016. So what is the story on Julian Assange? Why is the DOJ pursuing this case so aggressively? Glenn Greenwald has followed this from the very beginning. He's, of course, a journalist, founder of The Intercept, and we're happy to have him tonight. So, Glenn, thanks for coming on. I think a lot of people have heard for years that Julian Assange is a bad guy who hurt the United States. Now the United States is going to bring justice in this case. What's your view of this? Tell us what we should know in 3 minutes about Julian Assange.
Let's remember, Tucker, that the criminal investigation into Julian Assange began by the Obama administration because in 2010, WikiLeaks published a slew of documents, none of which harmed anybody, not even the government claims that. That was very embarrassing to the Obama administration. It revealed all kinds of abuses and lies that they were telling about these endless wars that the Pentagon and the CIA are determined to fight. They were embarrassing to Hillary Clinton. And so they initiated a grand jury investigation to try and prosecute him for reporting to the public. He worked with the New York Times, The Guardian, to publish very embarrassing information about the endless war machine, about the neocons who were working in the Obama administration. To understand what's happening here, we can look at a very similar case, which is one that President Trump recently raised, which is the prosecution by the Obama administration as well of Edward Snowden for the same reason, that he exposed the lies that James Clapper told. He exposed how there's this massive spying system that the NSA and the CIA control that they can use against American citizens. And obviously, this isn't coming from President Trump. He praised WikiLeaks in 2016 for informing the public. He knows firsthand how these spying systems that Edward Snowden exposed can be abused and were abused in 2016. This is coming from people who work in the CIA, who work in the Pentagon, who insist on endless war, and who believe that they're a government unto themselves, more powerful than the president. I posted this weekend a speech from Dwight Eisenhower warning that this military-industrial complex, what we now call the deep state, is becoming more powerful than the president. Chuck Schumer warned right before President Trump took office that President Trump challenging the CIA was foolish because they have many ways to get back at anybody who impedes them. That's what these cases are about, Tucker. They're punishing Julian Assange and trying to punish Edward Snowden for informing the public about things they have the right to know about the Obama administration. And they're basically saying to President Trump, you don't run the country even though you were elected. We do. And they're daring him to use his pardon power to put an end to these very abusive prosecutions, one which resulted in 8 years of punishment for Julian Assange for telling the truth, the other one which resulted in 7 years of exile for Edward Snowden of being in Russia simply for informing the public and embarrassing political officials who are very powerful.
So in 30 seconds, the president could pardon Julian Assange right now and end this. Is that correct?
He could pardon him and Edward Snowden, and there's widespread support across the political spectrum on both the right and the left for doing both. It would be politically advantageous for the president. The only people who would be angry would be Susan Rice, John Brennan, Jim Comey, and James Clapper, because they're the ones who both of them exposed.
Boy, that's the most powerful summary I've ever heard of that story. Glenn Greenwald, thank you very much for that.